the Amel show. But I think things just started getting so lopsided that I was like, listen, this is still my group.
She's the neo-soul queen who's been blessing us with her angelic voice since the 90s. Amel Larrieux. Her buttery smooth vocals can melt hearts in seconds. But there's more to her story than dreamy R&B. Amel first made waves with Groove Theory, but when she went solo, fans had questions. Was it creative differences, industry drama? And how has she managed to stay relevant while evolving with the ever-changing music scene? Amel Larrieux was born Amel Eliza Stowell on March 8, 1973, in New York City. But she spent part of her early life in the culturally rich environment of the Lower East Side. Growing up in a diverse neighborhood influenced her musical style and artistic development. Amel's mother, Brenda Dixon Gottschalk, was a scholar and former professional dancer, which exposed her to the arts from a young age.
As a kid, because it's your parent, but like I'm going to all sorts of dance concerts, you know, and not realizing that it's like her job.
This artistic influence played a significant role in shaping her passion for music and performance.
I spent a lot of time having the experiences of going with her to her jobs.
But get this, while most kids were glued to cartoons, little Amel was busy vibing to jazz, soul, and funk like she was born for it. She grew up listening to legends, which is evident in her blend of music.
I know that there's a piece of Amel, amalgamation, Stevie and Jimmy and John Lennon and all the people that were so great.
I mean, talk about a killer playlist. By the time she hit high school, she was already writing her own songs and singing like she'd been doing it for decades. She attended Philadelphia High School for the Creative and Performing Arts and was a classmate of Christian McBride, Kurt Rosenwinkel, and Joey DeFrancesco.
I just got open at that school. It really made me know that I had to be doing something with music at some point in my life.
She even went to prom with Questlove.
It was just embarrassing because I had such a complex because I was wearing such a cheap dress.
Honestly, it was like she was made to be a star. Now here's where the tea really starts brewing. So, picture this. Back in 1991, Amel crosses paths with Bryce Wilson, who was part of Mantronix at the time. Over at Rondor Music, Bryce was ready to ditch the group vibe and launch his solo career as a producer and musician, but he needed the perfect vocalist. Enter Amel.
She came to my house in Jersey, and I put her in the bathroom with Mike. Just had this track, and she just kept going like she really wrote a good record to it.
The two start cooking up demos together, and boom, they form the duo Groove Theory. Their debut album, Groove Theory, was a total vibe, serving up radio hits like Tell Me,
If you want me to,
Keep Trying, and Baby Love. Like, who didn't have those songs on repeat? It was pure vibes, but let's keep it real. Amel was the star of the duo. No shade to Bryce, but sis carried that group with her vocals and her stunning beauty. And if that wasn't enough, they even made their mark on movie soundtracks like Sunset Park in '96,
baby, it's alright.
And Love Jones in '97.
You're not giving me love. Giving me love.
Talk about leveling up. But plot twist. Just when Groove Theory was about to hit the next level, Amel said, "Peace out." Yup, she left the group after one album. Word in the street was she wasn't about that cookie-cutter R&B life and wanted more creative control.
I want to be individuals, and then I faded myself out of the album. I think things just started getting so lopsided that I was like, listen, this is still my group.
But here's what she said after leaving. You have to make a bunch of compromises, and, you know, I just couldn't go on forever. We wanted different things. And a combination of that and the label wanting different things from us just made me decide that it was time to move on. Honestly, queen energy. The duo's success, however, laid the foundation for her solo career. After leaving Groove Theory, Amel went full boss mode. Okay, so here's the scoop. She teamed up with her hubby, Larrieux, to co-write and co-produce her debut album, Infinite Possibilities.
Misery, 'cause I know loving.
It dropped in February 2000 on Epic Records, and let me tell you, it was a moment. The album hit number 79 on the Billboard 200 and climbed to number 21 on the top R&B hip-hop albums chart. Oh, and let's not forget the banger Get Up, which became her biggest solo hit ever. Honestly, she and Larrieux were serving serious power couple energy. But hold up, why does Creative Control seem to be Amel's middle name? After dropping Infinite Possibilities, she cut ties with Epic Records due to lack of creative freedom. Amel spilled the tea herself, saying, "I was asked to tone it down as a solo artist, which is one of the reasons why I was really glad to leave the major label where I was signed." Like, excuse me? Amel wasn't about to dull her shine for anyone. So what did she do? Oh, she did it before and was never afraid to do it again.
It's hard because my trip was I did have a major label machine behind me, the major label money, the major label marketing behind me.
Deja vu? She just went full boss mode with her husband Larrieux and started their own label, Bliss Life Records, to release her music her way.
So this is the right time. People are more hip to the internet. People are more open to what independent means, especially for artists of color, because it's kind of like we're just not there independently.
Who else can say they're the CEO of their own vibe, iconic behavior, honestly? Okay, so Amel wasn't playing around when she dropped her second album, Brave Bird, on January 20th, 2004, under her own label, Bliss Life Records. Sure, it didn't exactly blow up on the Billboard 200, but it still hit number 28 on the top R&B hip-hop albums chart and number 5 on independent albums. Not too shabby for an indie queen, right? And let's talk about the single for real. That mid-tempo bop showed off her insane whistle register, leaving Ebony magazine comparing her to Minnie Riperton. I mean, iconic much? Oh, and fun fact, part of her song Giving Something Up even made it into BET's HIV/AIDS campaign Wrap It Up commercial in 2003. Talk about using her voice for good. Then in April 2006, she dropped her third album, Morning, featuring the heartfelt single, Weary, which climbed to number 29 on the Billboard Hot Adult R&B Airplay chart. And guess what? Morning became her highest charting album ever, landing at number 74. Plus, the track No One Else
'Cause I belong.
even made it onto the soundtrack for Tyler Perry's 2007 hit film, Why Did I Get Married?
There's got to be something in them 14 years that's worth fighting for.
Like, Amel stays booked and relevant. And wait for it. Just when you thought she couldn't top herself, in May 2007, she dropped Lovely Standards,
Me with my quiet upbringing.
a stunning collection of jazz standard covers. The album broke into the top 5 on the Top Jazz Albums chart and sold 3,700 copies in its first week. Amel proving, once again, that she can literally do it all independently without the big labels. She basically said, major labels never heard of her, and yet her music is timeless. I mean, name one person who doesn't feel something when they hear tunes. Oh, we have to talk about the Groove Theory reunion. So, on February 4th, 2010, SoulSummer.com dropped the exciting news. Amel was back in the studio with Bryce Wilson, working on Groove Theory's long-awaited second album. Can you even imagine it? They hit the stage together for the first time in years on October 7th, 2010, in Tokyo, Japan, and Amel was loving it. Sounds like a total vibe, right? But here's where things get a little murky. In an interview, Amel mentioned that she and Bryce were still hunting for a label they actually vibe with.
We've done these live performances. We're basically kind of more interested in having somebody offer us a situation.
Fast forward to August 2011, and she revealed that Groove Theory hadn't recorded any new material yet. Like, what's the holdup, y'all? Fans were dying for that album, but it seems like the wait just kept getting longer. Classic music industry drama. Am I right? Now, let's talk about her personal life, because this is where Amel gets super mysterious. She's been married to her boo, Larrieux, since 1994. Yes, 1994. And they're still all about each other, rock solid.
When I know what he's doing, our kids are with us. My oldest child plays in the band with us.
And honestly, it doesn't look like they're letting go anytime soon. They're basically soulmates.
Like our life is really spontaneous. So if he wasn't in the industry, if I had to have to go on a red carpet at the last 11th hour or something, my partner might be like, what? We had plans.
They have 2 daughters, Sanjay and Sky, with the oldest also a keyboardist in her mom's band.
His daughter plays keyboards, does backgrounds and sounds, and I'm just super lucky to have her there. What she brings is...
But here's the gag. Amel is so private. She barely posts about her family or personal life. But she did slip something once. She once battled with anxiety and panic attacks.
Episodes that were panic attacks. I thought I was dying, having heart attacks. Then I started having episodes of just like all night long vomiting.
Yes, the neo-soul goddess herself. And what got her through it? Meditation and yoga.
Meditation practice. I'm very devoted. I did some studying at the Shambhala Center here in New York. I started cultivating.
And did you know Amel's got some serious composer credits under her belt? Yup. She's the genius behind the music for The Losers in 2010. Barbershop in 2002. Beyond the Lights in 2014 and a few others. Like, is there anything this woman can't do? She's out here making soundtracks for some iconic movies, just casually adding film composer to her already stacked resume. Total boss move. If you've ever seen her on stage, you know she's pure magic with her legendary live performances. Whether she's shutting it down at the Howard Theater or owning the stage at SOBs in NYC.
She doesn't need no big introduction. She's just simply awesome. Some noise for Bliss Life, Amel Larrieux.
Her vocal skills and stage presence are just unmatched. People are obsessed. Also, who else sees how she's out here aging backwards? Sis is 51 years old, but she looks like she's still in her Groove Theory days. Like, drop the skincare routine, Amel. The people need answers. And what about her artistic evolution? Amel's not one to stay in the same lane. She's constantly exploring new sounds and themes, keeping her music fresh and authentic. Let's get into her legacy, because Amel Larrieux is nothing short of iconic. With a career that spanned decades, she's left her mark on the R&B world and built a loyal fan base. Critics love her, fans adore her, and her influence is undeniable. Bottom line, Amel is that girl, and the music industry knows it. Amel Larrieux isn't out here chasing clout or dropping albums every 5 minutes because she doesn't have to. Her music is evergreen, and her vibe is unmatched.
Try to only spread good vibes and encourage that in other people to spread that as well. That's what I'm gonna do.
Whether it's neo-soul, R&B, or straight-up jazz, Amel has always stayed true to herself. She's living proof that staying true to yourself is the ultimate flex, and that is why her fans ride or die for her.